Hey everyone, Richard here. Welcome back to the channel. We all work hard, striving for a better life. The dream is to have our money work for us, instead of us working for money forever. So why is that goal so elusive for most people? I believe it's because, from the start, we misunderstand the most critical rule in the wealth game: differentiating assets from liabilities. In the wealthy mindset, an asset is something that consistently puts money into your pocket. Yet, most average earners mistakenly classify things that continuously take money out of our pockets as assets. So today, we're diving into the core mental model of cash flow analysis. What's truly making you richer, and what's secretly making you poorer? Puts money in your pocket versus takes money out. Sounds simple, right? But the fundamental difference between the poor, the middle class, and the rich lies in whether this rule is hardwired into your brain, becoming a conditioned reflex. To make this stick, let me give you a metaphor. An asset is like a money tree that works for you automatically. Even while you sleep, it generates income. Think of a rental property with stable positive cash flow, dividend-paying stocks from a great company, or a business that runs without your daily involvement. A liability, however, is the opposite. It's like a pet, money pit, you must constantly feed and care for. It might look like you own it, but in reality, it's continuously draining your resources under various guises. Now, let's apply this lens to two of the biggest purchases in our lives: houses and cars. Starting with the bigger one, why is your primary residence often a liability? Let's visualize the cash flow when you buy a home to live in. The first and biggest outflow is your mortgage payment. You might feel you're building a life, but financially, you're primarily working for the bank. A significant chunk of your income disappears into interest payments every month. The second outflow: unavoidable expenses like property taxes, HOA fees, insurance. You pay these constantly, whether you're there or not, draining your cash. Third are the hidden, often overlooked costs: maintenance and depreciation. Houses aren't perpetual motion machines. Pipes burst, paint peels, appliances need replacing every few years. All these are unpredictable cash withdrawals from your pocket. But the most critical outflow is often the last one we consider: opportunity cost. Have you considered what that massive down payment, tens or hundreds of thousands, could be earning if it weren't frozen in your house, if it were deployed in a true income-generating asset? Now, I hear the big counter-argument: but Richard, my house appreciates. That paper wealth counts. This logic might have held over the past decade. But the landscape is shifting. The old assumption of ever-rising prices is being challenged. We're seeing significant price corrections in many housing markets. The future likely mirrors developed economies, where only a minority of core, strategic properties consistently outpace inflation. Another common pushback: but if I don't buy, I have to pay rent. At least buying gives me a house in the end. This question gets to the heart of distinguishing a moderate liability from a severe liability. Let's run a simple comparison. Calculate your total monthly cost of ownership, mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance estimate, and compare it to the rent for a comparable property in the same area. If your ownership cost is significantly lower than the market rent, congratulations. From a cash flow perspective, your house is acting as a cost-saving tool. However, if your monthly cost is much higher than the equivalent rent, you're paying a substantial premium each month for the privilege of ownership. So, let's define a primary residence more precisely. From a pure cash flow growth perspective, a primary residence that locks up a large down payment and carries a monthly cost higher than market rent acts as a liability. When does it become an asset? Simple: when you rent it out. And the rental income must fully cover all associated costs: mortgage, taxes, maintenance, vacancies, and leave you with a surplus. Only when the net cash flow turns positive, when money starts flowing from the property into your pocket, does it cross into asset territory. Now, if a house can sometimes masquerade as an investment, a car, well, it barely tries. It's almost a pure consumption item, a liability from day one. You've heard the saying: a new car loses a significant chunk of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. And the drain has just begun. Insurance, fuel, parking, maintenance. repairs, loan payments, registration, traffic tickets. A car's primary financial role is to consume capital, unless, of course, you use it to make money if it's essential for your business, or you use it for ride-sharing/delivery, and the income exceeds all its costs. Then, it transforms into a production tool, a specialized asset. Alright, the concept should be clear now. But the goal of this philosophy isn't to avoid buying houses or cars and live like a monk. Quite the opposite. Learning the wealthy mindset is about acquiring nicer houses and better cars in a smarter, more sustainable way. The core difference between the truly wealthy and the average person lies in the sequence of the wealth game. Let's look at the average employee's cash flow pattern. Income comes in from a job and flows directly out to expenses. Simple. Now, the middle class cash flow pattern. Income comes in and is prioritized toward liabilities. They work hard to earn money, take on a loan to buy a large liability, like a house/car, and use decades of future income to feed this money pit. Whatever is left goes to living expenses. They look asset-rich, but feel the pinch. Finally, the wealthy cash flow pattern. They use their income to first acquire income-generating assets. Then, they use this passive income to cover their living expenses. Finally, they use the money generated by their assets to easily acquire the liabilities they desire, like a luxury home or a fancy car. This is the core secret. Always build your asset column first. Then, let your assets fund your liabilities. So, what can you do starting today? 3 actionable steps. Step 1. Draw your personal financial map. Take a sheet of paper. Create 2 columns. On the left, honestly list all your assets, things generating cash flow for you. On the right, list all your liabilities, things consistently draining your cash. You must see your current reality clearly. Step 2. Shift your spending mindset. Before any major purchase, ask yourself one powerful question. Am I buying an asset or a liability? This simple filter can help you avoid 90% of financial pitfalls. Step 3. Launch your asset acquisition plan. Allocate a portion of your monthly income, no matter how small, to be automatically invested into acquiring true assets. Start with $100, $500. The goal is singular. Make the income from your left column, assets, grow, slowly and consistently. So, let's return to the initial question. This discussion about assets and liabilities seems to be about money, but at its core, it's about life autonomy. When the passive income from your assets can completely cover your lifestyle expenses, you have achieved genuine financial freedom. At that point, you work for passion, not for survival. You buy houses and cars not as burdensome chains, but as rewards for smart planning. Because true wealth isn't about possessing expensive-looking things. It's about ultimately gaining time and choice. Alright, that's all for today. I challenge you to go and audit your life right now. What are your money trees? And what are your money pits? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this valuable, please hit that like button, subscribe for more content on mastering your finances, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, invest wisely.